Good morning and welcome to TSL Nigeria TV, Politics and Power, your programs that come to you every Mondays and Wednesdays. Today is October the 5th and it's about 142 days to the general election in 2023, which is February 25th. We are looking at the issues that will surround the elections as the political gladiators continue to wrangle in the field for the votes of Nigerians. And we're looking at who is going to sit in that Aso Rock come 2023, May 29th, who will be that person that will be inaugurated as the elected president of Nigeria. Today I have a honorable politician, somebody with a vast knowledge in the politics of Nigeria and those states. Please welcome Honorable Ayamo Kwedepolo.
It's a pleasure to be here, my brother.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Sir, let's start by the APC, because you are the member of the APC and you are somebody who have also participated in elections before. And looking at the preparedness of the APC candidates, do you think that the APC stand a chance in 2022 general election, considering the fact that a lot of people are complaining that things are not going so well for Nigeria at the moment?
Yeah, to start with, I'd like to appreciate you for having me once more.
Thank you, sir.
And I'd like to put it very succinctly. Elections are based on, ability to sensitize and mobilize the people to election and ensure that their votes count for you or your party. That's the whole purpose of election. And so beyond, crowd show and all of that, there must be a distillation. It must distill so that votes are counted in your favor or that of party. Then to start with the APC, yes, as far as the preparedness of our party is concerned, I can assure you that everything is set. There is no single cause for alarm. Yes, people raised eyebrow that the date of our proposed takeoff, we didn't come on live as proposed and all that. I can tell you that a number of strategic and security reasons or factors, played out and informed the decision to shift the takeoff of the campaign to the 10th of October. And you can see our presidential candidates, basking, gymnastically, basking in dancing and song and holding his strategic meetings here and there. Election is about, there are power brokers. There are power brokers, in the information sector, whether you call it television. There are power brokers in all sectors of the country. The man has to reach them. And he's meeting just now with UK. In the UK, for instance, he's meeting with, the owners, so to speak, of HITV. He's meeting with a lot of diasporans who have a lot of stake in the industry, manufacturing, and human capital development of this country. These are not people to be sidelined. These are not people to be undermined. These are not people to be neglected. And so there is a deliberate outreach in the diaspora because there must be a diaspora content, regarding this forthcoming election. Beyond the Nigerians at home, the diaspora have a vast stake in our industry, especially even in warehousing hard-earned funds to families back here at home. It is only reasonable that such elements who are altruistic are contacted and interacted with, having a striking conversation with a view to sensitizing them of your mission statement, your policy statement. Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu has said that he is prepared to take off government from day one, and so he must engage these elements, and so that is just the way to start.
So, sir, but there are a lot of speculations over the health status of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A lot of people are saying that he's not currently feeling well. I don't want to dabble into speculations, but can we truly say that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is fit enough, considering the fact that becoming a president in Nigeria is a Herculean task.
Absolutely.
You have to be up for meetings. Yeah. You have to sign a lot of files. Yeah. You have to be active. Yeah. We have security challenges that you have to respond to. You have to be physically fit to hold that office. Do you think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has the mental and the physical fitness to manage Nigeria if eventually he wins the 2020 election?
Yeah, without any resort to, gravitating, to unnecessary rhetoric, the first answer to your question is yes. You see, those who have raised concern about his health genuinely will continue to have them in our prayers, that God also meet them at the point of their needs. But in terms of the mental and physical fitness of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is up there. It's up there. The only thing that comes to the contrary to this statement I'm making right now is a medical report stating otherwise. You see, we live in a world, in a society bedeviled by false propaganda. I'm a political scientist, first and second degree, and I know the meanings and encyclopedic meaning, strictly speaking, of every term I use. False propaganda. Propaganda is not lie in itself. So that's why we now use the word false propaganda, to capture those who believe in lying for the purpose of political ambition. My dear, I can tell you, in this country, you are aware, history does not forget. People just cook up a story and said Buhari has been cloned into one Jubri from Sudan. It went viral to the extent that some people will hold meeting in Aso Rock with Buhari as they come and say, you should say that the real Buhari be this. No. I'm telling you the in-depthness of that propaganda. These same people, I was monitoring them on Facebook. The same people that spread these lies, this false propaganda. I was watching them on Facebook some days ago. I saw the same people writing on Facebook the very day Buhari stormed Imo, with Imo State Governor, and when he went to commission project. One of them wrote there, see as Buhari the waka gati, as if saying I ain't get southeast. So I now said in my mind, these same people who said this man has been cloned, they are not the same people who are saying the man's physical fitness is so rugged that they now accuse him of posing as if he's the owner of Southeast. That is to let you know how people can lie. My dear, I can tell you, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is physically fit. If it was not so, I would have not said so, with the boldness of heart. So I'm talking now. Because beyond this politicking, I have my own reputation and integrity, which I cannot mortgage at the altar of political expediency.
Okay, sir, let me quickly take you on this one.
Yes.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been invited to different forums.
Yeah.
The one of the most recent one is the MBA conference that was concluded, I think, 2 months ago, and where we saw him be represented by his vice presidential candidate. Yeah. Other place where he has been invited, he didn't show up. Yeah. So people are starting to ask questions and raise eyebrows. That the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who they expect to be at the forefront of the campaigns, he's nowhere to be seen. He hasn't been able to come out in plain terms to speak to Nigerians, to address some of these important sectors of the Nigerian society on what he intends to do if he's elected president.
The same Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who people accuse of lying prostrate somewhere, unable to appear in the NBA conference, some days later stormed daughter and had a meeting with a former president, Olusegun Obasanjo.
Yes.
How do you correlate that? You must be able to understand that.
Yes, but why is he not coming out for these invitations?
The fact is that, yes, people just say invitations, I laugh. People talk about signing of a peace accord. The signing of the peace accord is the first leg of it. And it is just a show. It is a show in the sense that there is no strictness about it that the presidential candidate must be there. If that was the case, Shettima and the national chairman of our party, Adamu, would have been shut out from attending the program because it's strictly for the presidential candidate. But it was not so. If invitation is sent to the national secretariat of the party to say, please avail yourself with your presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate, as the case may be. If it is not strict, then it means that you can delegate. And by the way, the vice presidential candidate is meant by law, by constitution, by all sentiments behind the conscription of vice, to step in for the governor or the president or the presidential candidate or the governorship candidate, as the case may be. And so there is nothing wrong about it. You know, what would have been wrong is two of them not showing up at all. But that does not take away. You see, all of these speculations, they are also strategic for us in a way. I can tell you this. I'm just letting you know, some top secrets. There are ways also good for us because it makes us to read, the sentiments and, the disposition of Nigerians. And by the time Ahmed Bola Tinubu step into the country in the next, few hours or a day or two from now, Nigerians will see an altruistically agile presidential candidate in Ahmed Bola Tinubu. You will see him. He will be moving around. He's going to tour the 36 states. There is no joke about it. Then you are not going to be seeing the Shetima coming to any state. He will be going with the presidential candidate. So, but just now, for strategic politicking for this election, the man just have to go meet some stakeholders. Okay. And so the story that he was lying on the bed, he's on oxygen, he's on life support and all of that, the man has to go on the gym to show to people, say, I did, can't be.
Okay, sir. So let's look at the strategy within the different political parties. And you know, as a politician that is deep-rooted in the politics of Nigeria, you know that our politics are defined by ethnicity, religion, and so many other factors.
Absolutely.
And you also know that the APC currently has produced, for the first time in Nigeria, I don't know, or maybe the second time.
In recent times.
Okay, first time in recent times. Since 1999, the APC is now presenting a candidate of Muslim extraction and a vice presidential candidate of Muslim extraction. Do you think that the Christians in the northern part of Nigeria would vote for Bola Tinubu?
The answer to that question is a loud yes.
And why, sir?
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian of the Christ Apostolic Church. And I stand to be corrected. What has happened now is something Nigerian Christians should embrace. Because there is nothing stopping the next round of election, as far as presidential candidacy is concerned, to have Christian tickets. It's a precedent. Once a precedent is set, it becomes a reference point. And so in law, it's called locus classicus. It becomes a locus classical. So you make reference to it.
So what has happened just now has not considered
that's not correct.
Sensitivity
that is
of
not
this
correct.
issue.
That is not correct. You see, people are overblowing what you would have otherwise called sensitivity. It's overblown. You see, the Nigerian that is unsecured, or the insecure Nigerians, the hungry Nigerian, if you have hungry Americans. So when I say hungry Nigerian, I'm not saying is that our poverty situation has gotten to that level. But I'm saying that a hungry person is not a religious conscious person. He needs food to eat. A man who is scrambling for safety is not scrambling for safety on the grounds of religion. He needs to be secured. And so the time has come, distinguished fellow Nigerians and senior practitioners in the media, that we must play ethnicity and tribe, must play to the background, to the backest of the background. Because these things have not led us anywhere. They haven't led us anywhere. Talking about precedent, the last Osun election, which produced the gentleman, for instance, is a Christian ticket. And that is a Muslim populated state. In case you don't know, in case some Nigerians do not know, Osun is a Muslim dominated state. Then you have the governorship candidate, a Christian, and the deputy, a Christian. And Muslims queued up to vote because they were voting in their judgment. Even though it was against my party, the APC, they voted for the PDP candidate. But in their judgment, they were voting for capacity. They were voting for an absolute resolve to listen to the yearnings and aspirations of the Osun man and woman, and which in their judgment, these people have in abundance. So they voted for them. So I'm not in a position to dispute the results. So we're only interpreting the result. So as the result declared, it showed that the people of Osun, because democracy is a matter of numbers. So more people in Osun believed. That is it. So the time has come, we must play down on religion. The northern Christians, for instance, they have nothing to fear. Because beyond the vice president, there are key positions this is going to be a largely Christian-dominated government. There's nothing to worry about. Okay, people talk about Islamization, or to blackmail Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC. A Muslim who could not or who did not resolve to Islamize his own wife, who is a fundamental Christian, holding church programs and house fellowship in his house for about 40 years of marriage. Is that the Muslim that he says is going to Islamize the country? No, he has not Islamized his own wife. And we are told that charity begins at home. The Senate President post is there. The Speakership of the Federal Republic is there. These are positions, these are critical positions. And at that level, sensitivity will not play in the judgment of the President and the leadership of our party to say this element, this position should be given to elements of this other, religious faiths. So to create a level of balance.
We will definitely get to the issue of how positions are distributed.
Yes.
But before you get to that point, you have to win elections first.
No, that's correct. That's correct.
And looking at that, do you see a clear path to the presidency in 2023 for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, considering, one, that in the northern part of Nigeria, you know that the PDP is presenting the northern candidates.
That's correct.
And naturally, people feel that the North, they are going to vote for their own. And then we cannot underestimate the fact that the presidential candidate of the Labour today is going to sway many of the southeastern votes. So the APC is left largely with scrambling for votes in the north.
Only southwest.
No. in the northwest, where the president is from, because the president influence is still very strong in the northwest, and also in the southwest. In the south, you know that the APC has been struggling in the south. Since the formation of the APC, they've never had a complete foothold of the south and the southeast. So, what is the route to the presidency for Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
You see, first of all, let me start with the President of the Federal Republic. He started contesting election in the year 2003 for president.
Yes.
He didn't contest in 1999. In 2003, he was declared to have had about 6 million votes. In 2007, he was declared to have had about 6 million votes. In 2011, he was declared to have had about 6 million votes. So he had a trajectory, an election trajectory of 666 million votes. And so that now propelled Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to consider, a political formula, a political marriage, and that bred CPC, Congress for Progressive Change, to join the All Progressive Congress, to join our party as it was then called.
The ACN and other parties.
And to form the All Progressives Congress,
yes,
so to speak. Thanks for your intervention. So the point I want to make is this. You've had a president, before he ever got to office, he has always had that. And with his impact so far, whichever way you would like to call it, either favoring his people or favoring other people, he will that number of votes and loyalty or solidarity would have swollen beyond that now. But election will tell, because we are not to forecast, we are not to say before elections. Okay, fine. So now you have a vice presidential candidate who is by tribal background, a Hausa Kanuri. A Hausa Kanuri. And Hausa Kanuris are, vast majority in northern Nigeria. And it comes from that tribe. And so, like I said, plain tribe to the background. This same fellow was governor and later elected senator. And so he understands the needs, aspirations of his people. He has relations. Now he was a former governor, now senator. So it means that in his interaction, he relates with people beyond his states. And so you cannot say that he's not going to have solidarity in other states in terms of support for him. And so when you talk about Atiku, yes, is a presidential candidate of PDP. So they're going to slug it out. They're going to slug it out. A lot of things are going to be put into consideration, because the Hausa man is going to look at the man who has the capacity to address his yearnings and aspirations, and who also has a winning capacity, so that his vote is not wasted. It pains and it hurts so much for your vote to be wasted, for you to vote, to have expended your vote for somebody who did not win. There's a way it hurts. And so they are going to look at all of that. And the way it is, the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged, if you look at the process of their emergence, you can see a Bola Ahmed Tinubu's emergence as one that is franchised by altruistic democracy. You see, a man who said he was opposed to, a superimposed candidature, an adopted candidate, he said, let us go to the primaries. And it was in that process of his expressions, he made that, what is now so viral now, Emiloko. When he made Emiloko, the Emiloko statement was not a statement made to Nigerians. He was saying that to the president and to the cabal, so to speak, of his party. To say, I have helped a number of you. It is also time for you guys to also consider assisting me. More so, I am insisting that there should be primaries. I want to be defeated and humbled in the primaries. And the primary result is for anybody to go and see. The so-called adopted candidate found himself around the 4th position. The vice presidential candidate, who was trumpeted by members of the opposition party, mainly, were trumpeting him because they know that with that fellow, it will be an easy sweep, an easy defeat of the APC. They were trumpeting that, Mona, bring this one, come on, this one ain't good pass. And we were, as political scientists, we were reading all of them. So look at these people's plan to bring out somebody in their own possession they know as a weakling. The man found himself around 3rd. The minister for transport found himself 2nd. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu scored over 1,000. His closest rival was about 300. So democracy is played out. And so all of these factors will tell you that in terms of the geographical spread of the country, the man has tentacles that will produce victory result for him come February 25th, 2023.
So talking about the Emilokan slogan that has been largely attributed now to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaign. People are saying that they've not seen programs, they've not seen manifestos, they've not seen a clear-cut agenda of how Bola Ahmed Tinubu intends to rescue Nigeria. We all know that today Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. We know that in the last 7 years alone, we had more than 30 national grid breakdown. The power generation is almost zero. As we even speak right now, we are running this place on generator. We know that youth unemployment has increased more than 30% in the last 7 years. We know that inflation is now on double digits in Nigeria. We know that Nigerians are currently being depressed. The cost of food and the cost of petrol and other things in Nigeria is alarming right now. Nigerians are suffering. So what is Bola Ahmed Tinubu's plan to rescue a Nigerian that is largely seen to have been plunged into this crisis by him forging alliance with a president that Nigerians consider that they do well for Nigeria?
You see, a good number of these statistics are, what I call opposition party trumped-up statistics.
Yeah, but they are facts, sir.
When you say they are facts, the only thing that makes fact there, from all you have said, is the inflation, which is double digits.
Yeah, but Nigeria is the capital of the world.
When you say it's poverty capital, you're only referring to the fact that Nigeria being the country with the largest blacks in the world, and so when there is poverty here, you refer to it as poverty capital. A number of transformation in terms of economic development programs have been initiated. I challenge the media in Nigeria, not just this very distinguished outfit from where I am talking from with my small voice. Nigerian media to do their investigation and comparative, what I call regime analysis, presidential regime analysis or presidency analysis, and tell Nigerians the president with the highest number of economic development programs. So I leave that. Publish it. Don't send it to one person. Publish it. Let the whole world see. Say, I am who I don't said on the program. We have done it. Publish it. Babangida came up with rural, better life for rural program. This is distinguished wife may also rest in peace. We have programs that presidencies are known for. So you do your comparative analysis, whether military and current regime. It will amaze you that the Buhari presidency has the highest numbers of economic and human development programs.
So, but have these programs
When
translated
you say these
into
programs are
better
not
life for Nigerians?
They have. You see, let me tell you, a number of things are playing out. And I must salute Buhari for one fundamental fact, one fundamental truth he alluded to in his Imo project flag off in Imo State recently. He said, my government has done very well, but those who should have been speaking for my government are not doing so. I like to be quoted on this. So said President Muhammadu Buhari. And if I have lied, the media should also expose my challenge the media. And so this is the truth. And there was a place the president made mistake. And I know that mistake. I would not want to, so gravitate it. You see, when you are running for election, especially to unseat a presidency, and you have a propagandist, such propagandist should not be made, to handle your mainstream information management. And that is where it comes from. So that anger will make that man to be blackmailed by the opposition, so to speak, who have been defeated from power. And so whatever that man says, because he was the mouthpiece of the propaganda machine, will no longer be regarded. And so that's just by the way. But the point I want to make is this. A number of economic development, recently, some 2 months ago, I stand to be corrected. I read in the newspaper, in Edo State, over $1 billion what you call a non-interest agriculture program initiative was released to Edo State, over $1 billion. We are not talking of state government allocation, which Edo State is entitled to, like its 36 state counterpart, 35 state counterpart. We are not talking about that. We are not talking of ESOPADEC, which is a counterpart funding between federal and state. We are not talking about SUBEB. We are not talking about other programs. We are just talking of one initiative in agriculture. And this one was, I think it was geared towards rice or poultry. $1 billion non-interest free loan, over $1 billion. I don't want to quote misplaced figure, so I'm not accused of misinformation. But I know it's over $1 billion. But it will amaze you that it's actually over $2 billion. Only in those states, just one initiative. It will interest you that when His Excellency the governor of Edo State was planning his rubber revolution initiative, the CBN announced huge fund of over 30 or so billion.
60 billion.
I would like to play it down so that people can verify that what I said is underquoted than to overquote. And so you can't understand. A number of things like this. That money, where has it gone to? The government that will take the glory of that federal government seed intervention in Edo State is the PDP government of Edo State. Because it's a PDP government. But the president that released that money is of the APC. You have to understand. So there will be deliberate disinformation and misinformation. All of this capitating into Buhari failed this, Buhari failed that. Yes, security, they have not been where a number of us desire. But we also know that most governors pocket security votes and secure nothing. Nobody challenges that. No, you just take your anger to Abuja, take your anger against the Aso Rock. Whereas there are local governments which are almost completely non-existent here. The only state that can boast of local government existence as defined by United Nations Education and Scientific Organization, UNESCO, is Lagos State, that still has local government intact with their periodic election since 1999. And so, if local government manage security, state manage security, federal manage security, we will be able to see if the fallout of our security problems are largely from the transborder wahala from Libya and all these African failed states that are migrating into Nigeria. So all tiers and layers of government must be held accountable. You play your part, I play my part. That is how a system functions. It's a system. And so no one should be isolated. And if there are blames, we should be able to identify the root cause of the blame. That's what we call the root cause analysis. And point appropriately. Rather than trumpeting and laying accusing fingers, which you cannot substantiate.
Thank you very much, sir. That's all we can do for today because of time.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back here again on Monday. Please do well to follow our YouTube page so that you can get our videos first time. Once we post it, you see it first hand, you get notified. Click on the link. It will be on the page right on the screen right now. Click on it, follow us, like our YouTube page, our Facebook page, our Twitter handles, follow all of it so you can get all of our videos. We'll be back here again on Monday with another exciting topic and a very exciting guest. See you on Monday. Bye-bye.